Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to a summer transfer special here on The Impossible Dream with Queen of the South as we move from Season 5 into a Champions League Season 6. It's a very, very exciting summer ahead of us and hopefully we're going to be able to get some good stuff done. Now, we can see what the game recommends is our best 11 there. It's a little bit misleading because we'll probably not play a DM and play the 3 like we did previously. If we look at what we know, do we have a confirmed budget? I'm not sure if we have a confirmed budget or not, but anyway, we've got right now 2.7 million. We've got 107 in the wage budget. So yeah, I think this is the updated version, isn't it? And we should get a little bit more prize money in for the Europa Conference League, but we haven't got that just yet. And a reminder of things that we know are happening already this summer. We know that Kieran McKenna, at the end of his contract, is off to join Dundee United. We know that Lewis Smith is off at the end of his contract to join Livingston. And we know that Sonny Harding is joining us from Liverpool when his contract expires on, is it going to be what, June? Oh no, we're paying him. So we're bought him for 350 grand. So he'll arrive on the 9th of June. So that is what we know is happening. We have a few contracts that are expiring of players that are going to be allowed to leave. And yeah, it's a huge summer for us because we are going to be a Champions League club. And I'm very, very excited to see what we can do to try. Oh, Jamie McGrath has become a favoured personnel. Yeah, very, very excited to see what we can do. So let's get this thing started. And, well, hopefully it's going to be a busy summer. Okay, a few things to wrap up on the previous season before we move on here. So it was a record high finish for the club in the Premiership, so that's excellent. Andrew Walker was the Rookie of the Year or Young Player of the Year, so that's excellent for him. So well done to you, Andrew. It looks as though Luizzi has won the Writers Young Player of the Year as opposed to Young Writers. It's the players that are young, not the writers. We have come second in Manager of the Year and Queen of the South Player in the Team of the Year. We've got a few. We've got McGrath and Suljic. So for once, it's not just a Celtic and Rangers. We've actually got more in there than Rangers, which makes sense, I suppose, because we beat them in the league, doesn't it? And that is just a player that we have had on the shortlist for a while. Just to sort of round out the season for you here as well, you can see there that Livingston have been relegated. Dundee United, they will be joining the Premiership again next season. So that, and it was, I think it's Aberdeen, is it, that won the league. So they'll be coming up as well. Yeah, so Aberdeen and Dundee United. So we've got a bit of a yo-yo effect happening in Scottish football here, apparently. So that sort of rounds out the season more or less. So let's move it on forward. Okay, we are at June 1st, which means contracts have expired. We have released a few players that you'll be familiar with. Max Melbourne has been released. He was on $4,000 a week. He wasn't really playing, so off he goes. Kyle McAllister, he was a good player for us when we used him and needed him. We don't really need him anymore. So again, I could have retrained him as a Mazzella, but I've decided to let him go. The controversial one perhaps is Colby Bishop. Again, someone that was good and still playing for us semi-regularly last season, but at 29, I just feel like we could probably use his wages a little bit better. So that's what we've looked to do there. Michael Mellon, who's a punt that I took, $1,000 I think we signed him for. He's just never quite developed. And unfortunately at 22, we just don't have, as strikers, we have good strikers. We don't really have the game time to give him. So I've just decided to let him go. And there's a couple of other youngsters there as well that haven't quite made it with us. Now, something else that has happened is... what else happened? There was something else that happened I wanted to fill you in on, but I can't remember what that is just now, so hopefully it'll come back to me. David, if I can get a quick word, mate. Look, I've had to let Enzo Scifro go, and I was wondering if you'd like to be my new assistant. Yeah, it's mainly just getting me coffee, doing my laundry, that type of thing. Yeah, well, I think you'll do a good job, mate, probably even better than Enzo did. And, I spent a lot of time creating you in Photoshop, so I really want to try and keep you relevant. So there we go. We have a new assistant manager, David Wheater, still at the club. He's been doing his coaching badges down the under 18s. He's not an under 18. He doesn't work well with youngsters, but he is actually a decent assistant manager. You can see there. I mean, I'm not too worried about the potential side of things, but mentally he's a good coach, and he's not the worst defensive coach either. So he is our new assistant manager, and will be for the foreseeable future. He's still got one coaching badge to come, so he'll improve a little bit from here as well. And like I say, he's a good to a very decent assistant manager. But we are June 9th now, as you can see over here. Now that means that transfer window is opened. Sonny Harding has officially joined us, a B- rated signing by the fans. I think he's going to do quite well. I really do. What I do want to do is, let's see if we can get him creative. Oh, we can't do that just yet because we're on summer break, can we? But we'll try and get him to play killer balls and whatnot. Livingston have snapped up Lewis Smith from us. Dundee have taken off our hands McKenna. And another one that you don't know about is Reece Lyon has left to go to Plymouth. 55 grand we ended up getting for him. And considering he was transfer listed, that's absolutely fine. He got a couple of important goals for us. I think he kept us in Europe one season, didn't he, with a goal against Sparta Prague. It must have been last season. So to only lose 30 grand on a player that we were barely using, I don't think that's too bad at all. So there we go. That is the beginnings of the transfer window. All right, a bit of an update on the European side of things. Now, the Scottish Premiership has moved up 2 places, so this doesn't matter too much. It's just the reputation of the league. But the fact that that is moving up is obviously a good thing. It'll help both us and the league find better players. So number 11, we are now ranked in that, which is good. The Queen of the South rankings, we've moved up 82 places to 60th. I thought we might just sneak inside the top 16. I suppose in theory we've done that. So that's good news for draws in certain competitions. And, well, we can see we've got 2 players trained at the club, which is not great. We need, well, that's better than was, I suppose. And Scotland, anyway, has rose up even in the coefficients table. So we've moved up 2 places to 10th. So that means there is now an automatic place in the group stage. Now, that is for 27-28, so that is for next season. So if we get to win the league this season, it would mean we would be in the, well, straight into the group stage. The league path is still the second qualifying round, which is the same, and the Champions playoff path has gone. So, yeah, there's a lot riding on winning the league now, isn't there? Okay, so a historic event. We are in the Champions League second round qualifying draw. Well, yeah, second. Yeah, that's right. We have been seeded for this draw, so that is nice. This is going to be one of those things where anything can happen, or is it we're going to be drawing either Lokomotiv Moscow or Austria Vienna. So it's a bit of a quick one, but we'll see who we get. So Lokomotiv Moscow first team out, and they get Dynamo Kiev. So it's going to be Austria Vienna. Now, of course, we spanked their city rivals Rapid in the Conference League last year. So let's hope that that continues, and that will be our first European Champions League task. And we've got to be a chance of winning that, actually. And, well, that's July 22nd. So that is coming up in just over a month's time. So we've got to get some transfers in, done, and dusted, registered, ready for that one. You know what, mate? Just go. No, I've had enough of you and your bloody whinging, mate. You've been nothing but a pain in my ass since I tried to flog you off last season, and how is your attitude my problem? No, you know what, mate? I'm not doing this. Goodbye. So, there we go. The love affair with Cesar Augusto has crushed and burned. He has left us for Sheffield United. 3 million up front, potentially another million. Crucially, a 50% sell-on. So if he does go on and make something of himself, we will get some money for that. Honestly, it was my own fault for trying to flog him off, but is he that good? I'm trying to tell myself possibly not, but we got him on a free. We've got 3 million for him up front. Sheffield United are a Premier League team, so you know if he does become decent, then chances are that 50% sell-on clause might net us quite a bit of cash. So let's hope for our sake he does go on and have a good career, and we can reap the benefits of that moving forward. Now, in terms of other transfers, nothing major has happened. We did sell Brian Marshall to Hamilton. We've got 40% sell-on on him. He's one of the youngsters that came through. He's a giant, almost 2 meters tall, but there's just not enough happening for him development-wise to consider him a prospect, even though he would be club-trained. So he goes off to Hamilton with our best wishes. So I did just want to come back for a quick update. It may not be a very busy transfer special, and the reason for that is not necessarily any fault of my own. We just really struggled to find players. So I just wanted to give you sort of a little bit of a look behind the scenes as to exactly why it is that we're struggling so much. So let's have a look at Reece Williams. This is someone that I was out of contract. I was off. I wanted to get him in as sort of a replacement for both Cesar Augusto, who's left, and also McKenna, who was fifth choice last year, but left as well. So we only really have 3 centre-backs at the club right now. So I was trying to bring him in. Now Millwall have offered him 15 grand a week, which we just couldn't do for a star player, never mind somebody who's going to be a useful centre-back for us, but certainly not the star of the team. So we've lost out on him. Now, to give you an idea, if we look at the finances here, we have $3.5 million to spend, and we have, 20 grand a week in wages. If we go over to our short list and have a look at some players here, now this guy here I'd looked at, he wants too much money because he's on 17 grand at Manchester City. We can't get him in. Antonio Silva he's solid without being brilliant, but if we look at the transfer fee that's wanted, I've made bids, they're much more up towards the 2 million. That essentially would be our transfer budget gone on an average centre-back. If we keep going down, I've looked at trying to loan in Scott McKellar. Now, that they want a transfer fee that would be equivalent of about 800 grand for the season, but which kind of seems like a little bit of a waste. But if we look to try and sign him, we're looking, upwards of, I think, what was that? It was more than we can afford anyway. It was going over for sort of 4 or 5 million. So although we appear to be sort of a good club to come to, the great hope is Callum Doyle, that we can try and get him in. We've already had a go and we weren't able to get him across the line. Is he willing to negotiate again? Not yet. So he's one of my great hopes. Hopefully we'll see him come in at some point. But it just gives you an idea. You can kind of see here the wages that players are on. And if you look at a low wage, then you look at the transfer value, and it's just way up and beyond what we can do. So I am really trying to get players in, I promise you that. But it's just a massive, massive struggle right now trying to find players that are willing to join us. And we are in a little bit of a state in terms of centre-backs. Actually, if we go and have a look here, you can see we've got Bernard, Hamilton, Walker. I've called this guy in just for friendlies to try and, just get another body in there. Mitch Clark could play centre-back, but could he? We're desperate for centre-backs. I just can't get anybody in. Okay, well, shockingly, this brings us to the end of the transfer special. We're at game day of our first Champions League qualifying, our first leg game there against Austria Vienna. And, well, we do potentially have somebody coming in as a centre-back. We're waiting on a work permit. Bernardo Vidal, it's not ideal, but he's willing to join us. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed. And, he's not terrible, but, it's not gone to plan. I think we can safely say that. Now we're going to have a look and see what we have to start the season with. And I think somewhat the issue we've got is that they're so desperate to sign a centre-back is that I haven't really been able to spend money anywhere else in the squad, because we need to get a centre, or at least one centre-back, if not two. So striking-wise, we know we've got reliable strikers in Lutzi and in Shakir Omar. We know we've got a decent youngster there in Chris Clockerty, and we also know we've got a good player in Suljic. So I'm okay with those four for now. Obviously, we'd like to get more players in if we can, but I'm okay with that for now. Look at the number 10. We know that Jamie McGrath can play well there. Omar Bermudez, if he can be consistent for us this year, he'll be a massive asset. We've also got Suljic, who can play a little bit deeper. And one of the new boys, or almost the only new boy, Sonny Harding, can play there as well. Now, a little bit further back again in midfield, if we just quickly go down, all these guys can play well in these positions. So Cameron McPherson, Dominic Thompson, who did well last year, to be honest. Andy Irving as well is a good option. Joe Hardy is one of the youngsters that's club trained. We need him to come through for us. We've also, we know McGrath can play a little bit deeper and do it well for us as well. Bayless, he was a star last season, wasn't he? Razayev is developing nicely. Wouldn't say he's tearing the house down, but coming along nicely. Josh Dunn is back from loan last season, so he'll get some game time this year. Davenport, still club captain, but maybe ever so slightly on the outer. Harding, we've already seen. We've also got Sean Goss, who is still around if we can. I actually did try to sell him, and you can see he's not worth much. He's not on much. Oh, Morty's decided to join us. So there's no real point in selling him. Another of the youngsters that's come through the club, and we've had him out on loan, is Jamie Watson. My plan is we'll probably keep him unless we can loan him out to the Championship. We'll probably keep him for this season as well. Ah, the defense. What a sorry state of affairs this is. If we look at fullbacks, most of these guys are interchangeable. So Montano, who went to the World Cup, got 6 caps now, good player. McPherson, we know, can play right back decently. Mitch Clark, for now, will be... we'll probably battle it out with Montano, who can play with both feet. So Montano will probably be first choice, Mitch Clark second choice, and McCallum, who will predominantly play on the left-hand side. The only person we've seen them all, these guys, Montano, McCallum, Clark, and Thompson as the left backs. The centre backs, we've got 2 good ones as our first choice in Walker and in Bernard. We've got 1 very decent backup in Hamilton, and that's all. So hopefully we get this Portuguese guy in. I did have the goalkeepers are Eastwood and also Harry Stone. Again, I would have liked to have strengthened there, but I just can't afford to spend the money somewhere and then need it, you know what I mean, to get, or not have it to get a centre-back that we desperately need. We did fail again in trying to get Callum Doyle to the club. He just wants too much money. He just wants too much money, and now there's interest elsewhere. Fulham, that's probably going to be the end of it. We just don't have the wages for him. And it is, what if we discuss interest with agent? We're very keen. I mean, if you want... That's annoying, because if he would sign for 9 grand, I'd happily give him 9 grand. I really, really would. Can we have another go with those? No, we're going to have to wait, and Fulham's going to come in. He wants like 20 grand or something. Like, I just can't afford it. And the other person we had another go at was Mbete. He wanted 20 grand as well, and we just can't do it. It is truly demoralizing. The other guy I've had a look at getting is this Facundo Gonzalez. He's got a good jumping reach and he can tackle, but he's a bit of a lump. Like, there's not much about his game outside of that. Maybe we have a go at him. I don't know. I don't know what to do. We could go and get McKellar on loan, perhaps. But again, then we're paying 55 grand a month on a loan fee. But maybe that's what we've got to do. Maybe we just need to go and do that. The other one I'm looking at is your Hoghide. I don't really want to. He's not that good of a defender. Maybe this is the guy. Let me know what you think. Maybe we just go and get him on loan. Oh, that's down to 41 now. The fact that that's happened, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet and say, yeah. I'd like to be able to terminate it. Let's just get him in. So that'll be another centre back. He's Scottish. He won't need a work permit. So if we get him in, that's a good thing. We get our Portuguese guy in. That's then going to be 5 centre backs, and well, we'll still have some money to spend. So I mean, it's only July. It's not even August yet. So we still have over a month to get stuff done. But coming into Champions League qualifiers, ideally, we would have done a little bit more. But you can see we've done okay in the friendlies. The finances are looking good. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If you've enjoyed it, though, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time as we do get our Champions League, first ever Champions League tie underway. It's against Austria Vienna. We've got to be every chance. Surely we've got to be every chance. So, yeah, hopefully the team we had last year was still a good team. So we should, we're not in a terrible place. We just haven't strengthened anywhere near as much as I would like to. Take care. Say bye, Morty. Hey, bye.